Hey, it's Congressman Garcia. I am here in El Salvador with a group of House Democrats advocating for the release of Kilmar Abrego Garcia and, of course, checking in on so many folks who have been sent here without due process. The Supreme Court has ordered unanimously that Kilmar Garcia should come back home to the United States. We also know that he was sent here wrongfully. The Trump administration admitted that. We have met now with the U.S. Embassy here, the ambassador. We're meeting with advocates on the ground who are organizing here in El Salvador. We've talked to Abrego Garcia's family, which is heartbreaking. And more importantly, we're here to raise awareness that Kilmar needs to come home. We need to build support here in El Salvador, but also in the United States. He must come home.
House Democrats get embarrassed as they're still stuck with their pro-illegal immigration agenda. Leadership within the left finally admits that they left the border open during the Biden administration. The World Economic Forum is said to be investigating their former leader after a whistleblower exposes him. And mainstream media mixes politics with the news of Pope Francis's passing. Guys, we have a lot to talk about today, so let's get back to what Democrats are crying about at this very moment.
Congresswoman Maxine Dexter here, coming to you from El Salvador. I flew here last night with 3 of my colleagues to demand that Kilmar Abrego Garcia be released. He is being held in violation of a Supreme Court order expressly telling the Trump administration to effectuate and facilitate his coming home. That is being ignored. This is not just a threat to all people in the United States who could be illegally abducted, detained, and transported internationally against their will. But it is a fact that our president does not recognize the branches of government and the balances of power. This is what we all have been calling a constitutional crisis, yet it is more severe than anything we've seen. We cannot stay silent. We must stay loud. I am here because I refuse to wait for something to happen. We are here to release Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
It's not every day that you hear a government official say publicly that they want a terrorist released into the United States. Now, real quick, guys, if you appreciate the daily news updates, hit the like button and subscribe. Appreciate that, guys. Although that norm has changed because Democrats just can't stop talking about this issue. This is because they want to create a false narrative, one that alleges that the Trump administration could deport anyone they want and that they would defy the rule of law if they felt like doing so. Meanwhile, the same Democrats who are adamant in bringing a terrorist back to the U.S. ignores the truth about Kilmar Garcia, even though they know for a fact that he is a gang member. And hey, guys, I keep getting messages from you guys, comments saying, hey, Ron, I keep missing your videos. I keep missing the breaking news. Can you please make sure I get notified? So I've taken care of you guys. All you got to do is hit the link in the description down below this video or in the pinned comment and join the breaking news newsletter. That's it. Totally free. Now, what's funny is that they're trying to say that this is all about due process, that they're fighting for democracy and that they're not defending Garcia and that they're worried for their own constituents should this happen to them as well. What they fail to realize is that they're not in the United States, which means that they actually have to play by the rules of El Salvador, which has led to these House Democrats being humiliated by local officials.
What do you know? Is there any chance you'll be meeting with Abrego Garcia while you're there?
Well, we're actually about to do a press conference to speak a little bit about this, but we got word at the embassy that our request has been denied by the government here locally. They say it's because we're not here on an official capacity. This is part of the reason why Representative Robert Garcia and I sent a letter to Chairman Comer of the Oversight Committee asking for this to be an official CODEL. But we're not giving up. We're going to continue. We have more meetings scheduled for the rest of the day. But part of this, too, is making sure that we keep the conversation alive. We're building off of the trip of Senator Van Hollen, and we're not the first members here, and we're not going to be the last.
You guys might be pleased to know that the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, Representative James Comer, he denied a request from Representative Maxwell Frost to have taxpayers pay for his flight. Frost supposedly clapped back at Comer by posting on X, saying that he's thankful that he doesn't need Comer's permission to get on a plane. Now, if that's the case, why ask for funding in the first place? Just go there on your own dime and leave the American tax people alone. Congressman Comer did talk about this, and here's what he said on Fox News.
You also, as chairman, have some duties and responsibilities, and that is signing off on travel for members of Congress who maybe want to go to El Salvador to meet with people who have been deported. What's your take on this? What are you going to do with this?
Well, I had two members of the House Oversight Committee, Garcia from California and Frost from Florida, and they sat there silent during the entire Biden investigation, during the entire investigation of Border Patrol and Mayorkas that we had in the Oversight Committee. If anything, they were obstructive. They weren't concerned. They showed no concern for the lack of our national security or the violation of our southern border security laws. But then this one person that the liberal media picked up on that was deported to El Salvador, they went crazy before it came out that he was actually an MS-13 gang member, and they wanted me to authorize funding at my committee's expense to send them down to El Salvador and meet with this person for a photo op and to have margaritas and, enjoy the sunny weather. And I obviously denied their request. We're not going to spend a penny of taxpayer dollars for liberal Democrats to continue their stunts to try to appease the radical left-wing base when the American people spoke loud and clear on Election Day. They want our southern border secured, and they want criminal illegals deported, and that's exactly what Donald Trump's doing.
And as we can see, Comer is letting his actions speak for itself, which is kind of the opposite of what Democrats did in the past 4 years. They claimed that they were tough on the border. Meanwhile, millions of illegal immigrants were able to cross into the United States. Some of them were even allowed to enter unvetted. Hakeem Jeffries, he has now surprisingly admitted that they didn't do enough at the border, and that this led to them being beat in the 2024 presidential election.
And I think it was one of the main reasons that we lost the 2024 election was that we let millions of people stream across the border. So what is the Democratic plan to show people that we're serious about this problem?
Well, we definitely have to be clear that we believe that we should have a secure border. That's first and foremost. And I think we've repeatedly endeavored to make that clear throughout this Congress. We were slow to act as an administration and as a party on the southern border crisis. And it hurt us not simply with traditional Republican voters or swing voters, but in some segments of our own base communities and in communities of color, including right here in New York.
Now, it's up to you guys whether you believe Jeffries or not. Now, on the topic of unbelievable facts, World Economic Forum leader Klaus Schwab has recently stepped down. Now, I know he's already said this before, but he actually means it this time, especially with what's happening. The WEF itself is now investigating Klaus Schwab for using forum funds on personal expenses. In fact, this comes after a whistleblower sent a letter to the group, prompting their audit and risk committee to look into the former leader. It said that the allegations include Klaus Schwab asking junior employees to withdraw thousands of dollars from ATMs on his behalf. It's also said that he has allegedly used forum funds to pay for private in-room massages at hotels. I wonder if they're talking about the types of massages that end in happy endings. The letter also calls out his wife for having forum-funded meetings to justify luxury hotel travels, all paid for by the organization. Now, there are also allegations of misconduct on Klaus Schwab's part, saying that he sexually harassed some female employees, as well as allegations of discrimination. Well, moving on, guys, mainstream media just cannot miss. Despite their heartbreak and pain that more than 1 billion Catholics are feeling across the world, they still managed to make Pope Francis's death about President Donald Trump.
What's interesting about that image of the vice president meeting the Pope is that it came amid a bit of tension between the Vatican and the White House as there was a delay in the meeting, and we know that Pope Francis has spoken out against some of President Trump's policies recently and during his first administration. Help us understand the relationship between the two.
Yeah, Pope Francis and the Trump administration, both during the first administration and the second one, have clashed, particularly over policies related to immigration, the president's mass deportation plan, which Pope Francis called a disgrace. So it was unclear whether this meeting would happen between the Pope and Vice President J.D. Vance, who converted to Catholicism a few years ago and did end up getting that meeting during his travels to Rome and the Vatican. We saw that picture shaking hands in exchange of gifts. It's been reported that Pope Francis gave the vice president 3 chocolate eggs for his young children, also a tie and some rosaries. We're told this was a very brief meeting, but the vice president's office says that he expressed gratitude for making time for that meeting and also the hospitality extended to his family.
It's insane to connect the president to Pope Francis's passing somehow. And there are some of those online who are saying that he passed away due to Vice President J.D. Vance visiting him. This is where we're at now, guys. And I understand that the late Pope did get into politics with his messaging at times, which is something that really shouldn't even happen. Religion and politics really don't mix well. But what do you guys think about it? Urgent warning, guys. The job market is collapsing. The economy is shrinking fast. Layoffs are skyrocketing. The Trump tariffs are already shaking industries. The media won't tell you this, but most high-paying jobs, they're disappearing. And the ones that do remain, they're soon going to be out of reach. But here's the good news, guys. I've put together a list of 30 plus jobs that pay around $100,000 per year without a degree. These are recession-proof jobs, and some are even set to explode in demand thanks to this economic shakeup. No college degree required, no student debt, just real jobs that pay. But I promise, guys, this list is not going to be available forever. So get it right now. Get it before these jobs are flooded by the competition. I'm going to go ahead and leave a link down below so you can get your free list of the 30 plus jobs that pay over $100,000 without a college degree. So download this list before it's too late. Now, if you got a moment, I have covered how some top Democrats are in favor of the country failing. I know it sounds weird. That top official is none other than AOC. Now, I covered this in a previous live stream. You guys got to check that one out. As always, appreciate you guys hitting the like button and subscribing. We'll see you next time.